Hey YouTube, Puff and Snuff here. Ian, checking in as always from beautiful Northeast Ohio. Back down here in the Cave of Wonders. The webcam continues to give me fits, so we're down here with the Samsung Galaxy. And it looks like that's going to be the plan going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. So I will apologize in advance for any shakiness with the camera. Kind of using the manual selfie stick, the right hand, to hold the camera today. So please bear with me. I'll do my best. We are going to do a Snuff review talking about the venerable Tom Buck. Tom Buck from Wilson's of Sharrow, which is one of the old traditional long-lived snuff mills, and Tom Buck being one of the old traditional long-lived snuff mixtures. It is kind of one of those classic legendary snuffs that I think a lot of you've probably already come across. It's been around forever and a day, and that's for a reason. It is because it is a remarkably well-done snuff. I know that Snuff Anybody McFeagle, I don't remember if he called it either his favorite or one of his favorite non-artisan snuffs, and from that particular nose is high praise indeed. Tom Buck is an SP, which I think a video on what an SP is probably its own separate recording. Not going to launch into the many different definitions and descriptions of what it is. I will say that for my practical purposes, when I hear SP, I expect medium to medium light in color, medium to medium fine in grind, medium to medium dry in moisture, and typically just tobacco and bergamot. Others may have more specific or broader definitions. There really isn't a hard and true definition of what an SP is or isn't, but for me, that's what I look for. So, Tom Buck itself, and the light in here is pretty good. So the color on the screen is pretty true to the color here in the room, which is to say a pretty much right down the middle medium brown. The tin note's beautiful. But I guess before I describe it, we should probably do the grind. So that's on the finger. It doesn't pill. It just kind of dufts right off. And it is what I would expect it to be. It is medium. It is on the fine side of medium, and it is on the dry side of medium. So exactly what I would look for. The tin note is Bergamo City, right? That is the first thing that jumps out at you. And bergamot, I guess if you're not familiar with it, go make yourself a cup of Earl Grey tea. And that citrusy, floral, herbal taste that makes Earl Grey different from regular black breakfast tea, that's bergamot. And depending on the bergamot that's used, whether it's tea or tobacco, sometimes it can be a little stronger in terms of the citrus quality. Sometimes it's more floral. Sometimes it's more herbal. In this, I get floral first, I get herbal second, and then I get citrus third, which isn't to say that there's very little citrus. It's in there. You definitely pick it up. But the first thing I'm hit with is the floral herbal nature of bergamot. Beneath that, and while I'm going to go ahead and warm a pinch up here. Beneath that, I do get the base tobacco. And I enjoy Wilson's base tobacco. It is kind of bready, but in a funky kind of way. For me, Toke reminds me very much of sourdough bread. The base tobacco for Wilson's, I can't put kind of such a specific aroma to it. It is bready, almost more like biscuity, but kind of like raw biscuit dough, and then something kind of funky. And I can't put my finger on what that funky is, but it's in a good way. It's not like mold or anything off-putting. Kind of the way old books sometimes have a funky old book smell. It's kind of like that, but it's really not like that. So, I don't know. We're just going to call it Funky Raw Biscuit. How about that? Which sounds like the name of a really, really bad garage band. But I get bergamot and funky in a good way raw biscuit, though. But that's in the tin. The real test is in the nose. So let's take this pinch. Oh, that's so good. I will say that oh man, is that tasty. This is not an American Scotch or an Indian White by any stretch. But if you are used to Sam Gawith or Pischel or Bernard's, you will want to take a little more care with this. It is a little trickier to take, but not that hard. Because of the grind, it coats the nostrils so well, and there's this little bit of a burn right off the bat, but not much, and it doesn't last long. Oh, it is so nice. It's just like the tin note. There's no surprise here. The first thing that I get is the bergamot, and it is the floral aspect of bergamot. And beneath that, kind of the herbaceous and the citrus nature comes out a little bit. And I know from experience that is what I am going to smell for the next minute or two. It will take a while for that to subside and for the base tobacco to begin to come out. And when it does come out, it will be that funky raw biscuit kind of nature that you get from the tin note. There's a really interesting period when the bergamot starts to fade, but before the base tobacco really fully comes out, and you kind of get the aroma when the one is waxing and the other is waning, and it's very reminiscent of Earl Grey tea, which isn't, bergamot's in both, of course, so they have similarities, but I mean, there's something Earl Grey tea leaf like the actual tea bag or the leaves that you would use to make a pot of tea. And it is a very tea-like aroma, and that doesn't last long. That's maybe 30 seconds. And then the bergamot fades enough, and that tobacco flower comes out to such prominence that kind of tea-like thing is fairly fleeting. But it's really neat, and it's super tasty when it's there. And it makes you understand, I think, why this is so popular and why it has lasted so long. I can't find anything off-putting. I mean, if you have a specific aversion to bergamot, you're not going to like this. Stay away from it. It's not worth your time. But if you either are okay with or really, really like bergamot, it's hard for me to imagine someone not getting a real kick out of this stuff. From a nicotine standpoint, it's pretty mild. I know I say in every video, don't go by me on nicotine because I have a fairly high tolerance, but I don't even really get the pulse, in the capillaries here. I don't really even get that little throb that you get. The burn is very short-lived. I think if you're chasing nicotine, this is not going to do it for you. In my opinion, this is purely I enjoy the sensation of nasal snuff and I enjoy the aroma of nasal snuff kind of snuff. This is not boy, do I need some nicotine or I'm going to start ripping out my own hair. This is not going to solve your problem. Which can be a good thing. If you're particularly sensitive to nicotine, this is something you could take all day long. Speaking of taking it all day long, I never get the least bit clogged up from this. It is not unusual for me to sit down in the evening and put on a ball game or a movie and take a pinch of this every 10 or 15 minutes all night long. Never stuffs me up one little bit. I also get virtually no drip, front or back, from this, which surprises me because you would think that if you took this continually and nothing's draining to the front or to the back, you'd get pretty plugged up pretty quick, but I've never found that to be the case. So I think that this could easily be an all-day, everyday snuff. I also think that this could be a good mixing snuff for other citrus-based scent. I know I've tried it on Snuff Anybody's recommendation. We used a different ratio, but we've tried blending it with Sir Walter's Moro Moro with fantastic results. I would imagine really any orange or lemon-based snuff, I think this would blend really, really well with. So you might want to play around with that too. Well, we're 10 minutes in, so we could probably wind this up. I do like to rate snuffs. Although I think going forward, I'm actually going to adopt the Snuff Anybody McFeagle policy of rating artisan snuffs in a separate category of non-artisan snuff. So in the non-artisan world, this to me is a 10 out of 10. It is a top 5 all-time non-artisan snuff for me. It is something that I always have on hand, that I will always keep stocked up on. I think you should go out and you should get yourself a tin. And again, unless you hate bergamot, if you hate bergamot, stay away. Otherwise, go give this a shot. Queen's Extra Strong from Wilson's is the same product, so you can go that route as well. Either one, exact same snuff, different names, essentially for marketing purposes these days. I don't remember if it was In a Pinch or Snuff Anybody. They kind of told the story of how Tom Buck and Queen's Extra came to be. And I'm not going to recite it word for word, but go check their videos on it out. One of them tells the story. It's pretty cool. So that's all for now, guys. Tom Buck, Wilson's of Shero, 10 out of 10. Go try it. Until next time, take it easy. We'll see you.